So far, we've been using version control in kind of a primitive way. We've made a repository on GitLab. We've cloned that repository to our local machine, or at least cloned it to a machine. And we can kind of see that version control repositories, in Git's case at least, are really no more than just a directory that has another special directory in it. One of the ways that we use version control repositories that differs from this a little bit happens especially when we're working on a team with other people. So if we're working on a team with other people, all working together to build a common software project, in a lot of cases, when we're at this point, we're doing project management stuff. We're starting to think about how to break down a big project into smaller parts. Those smaller parts can be things like features, but the features that one person is working on will often interfere with another person's work. And alternatively, sometimes we are in a state where we want to use version control in a situation like this, where we're building a feature and we want to make sure that we're keeping track of files, even though something's not complete. One of the ways that version control tools and Git help us to do stuff like this is to use something called branching. Branching is kind of what it says in the box, in the sense that version control tools like Git keep track of things in really a tree. Trees are, well, they're trees, they got a trunk and then they go all the way up and then they got branches that come off of them. And you can kind of conceptually imagine this idea of branches in Git to be similar to branches that we have in a tree. With Git, the trunk, the thing that we have that's kind of in the middle of this whole thing is often called main. That's the name of the branch that contains the main piece of work that we have. When I say the main piece of work here, what I usually mean is this is the thing that works. This is the thing that we've released to a client. This is the thing that we know that passes all of the tests. This is the thing where we know that everything that has been committed to it is a complete feature. Git gives us the ability to work with branches, and we've seen this word branch in a few different cases. So when I run git status, we've seen these words before. On branch main, or your branch is up to date with origin main, and then nothing to commit, working tree clean. Branch is the word in Git where we're going to be able to take the state that we're in right now and make a new path from that and make changes to that new path without affecting the thing that we're working on right now. So I'm going to make a new branch. First, I'm going to say, I want to see what branches we have right now. We're going to use a new git subcommand called branch to do that. So what we can see right here is that we're on branch main. And the way that we can see that is that there's a star beside it, an asterisk, and that the text is colored in green. That says this is the branch that we're currently on. The shell, the program that I'm using for me to run commands on the command line, it's called fish. And fish also has some extra information here that says you're on branch main. It tells you this in the prompt that I'm getting. I'm going to make a new branch. I'm going to say that in this project that we've got, the project that we've got right now, remember, consists really of just this README file, and then it also consists of this git ignore file. And I don't want to have docx files in this repository because I'm making those with pandoc. I want to try to do something like add a new programming language to this. I want to say hello world in Rust. So the way that I'm going to do that is first, I'm going to make a new branch. The things that I have in my main branch right now, so in main in this repository, they look like what I want them to look like. This is feature complete as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to say git branch, and then the way that I make a new branch in Git is to say, to give it a name. So I'm going to say add Rust. I'm going to now say git branch. And what git branch tells me is that there are two branches in this project. The one that I'm on is called main, so it's got the star and it's green. The other branch that we have is called add Rust. This is a branch that doesn't have anything in it yet. And the main and add Rust are actually technically at the same point right now. I want to make changes to this add Rust branch. And so I'm going to do git switch add Rust. I want to switch to this branch. It's going to say switched to branch add Rust. And you'll see also that my shell here, my fish shell, has prompt changed to be add Rust as the current branch that I'm on. I'm going to add Rust. So I'm going to say vi hello.rs. So I'm going to edit this new file called hello.rust. Rust is another programming language. I'm not going to compile this. All I really want to do is to have a file that's got something in it. So fn main println exclamation point hello world exclamation point semicolon and end. I'm going to do wq to quit, to save and quit. I'm not going to compile this. I don't really care about compiling it. I don't even know Rust. I actually just copied that from a website. What I do know is that if I run git status right now, there's this file that I've added that Git doesn't know about. And just like what we had to do before, we have to stage the changes. We have to add it to Git. So I'm going to say git add hello.rs. And then I'm going to say git commit. So I'm going to make a commit with the changes that I've staged. Add Rust. If I do git status now, there's on branch add Rust. That's the branch that we're currently on. And if I type ls here, there's this file that's called hello.rs. Now I want to switch back to my main branch. So I'm going to say git switch main. And now it says switch to branch main. Your branch is up to date with origin main. I'm going to say git status here. It'll say on branch main, your branch is up to date with origin main. If I type ls, the stuff that we just added and committed to the add Rust branch is no longer there. In terms of the changes that we've got, the main branch doesn't know anything about what's happened in the add Rust branch. These are two separate branches off the tree. I want to do another programming language. So I'm going to say git branch add Perl. Perl is another programming language that is it's a lot older than Rust. So I'm going to say in hello world, I'm going to run a new file called hello.pl. Well, first I need to switch to that branch. So I'm going to say git switch add Perl. So now I've switched to branch add Perl. If I type ls here, it's just the README, kind of like just in the main branch. I'm going to say vi hello.pl, and I'm going to say print hello world. And this is how I say hello world in print in Perl. I'm going to write and quit, and then I'm going to type ls. I'm going to say git add hello.pl he tab git commit -m add hello in Perl. If I type git status now, on branch add Perl, nothing to commit, working tree clean. If I type ls, then I've got hello.pl and readme.md. The add Rust branch and the main branch don't know anything about what I've done right now. So if I do git switch main, so if I go back to my main branch and I type ls, there's no hello.rs and there's no hello.pl. The state that I'm in right now is that I've got a main branch and I've branched off hello.rs and I've branched off hello.pl, add Perl and add Rust. The other operation that we have with branches is that we can merge things back in, and that kind of makes this not a tree. This is unlikely for a branch to kind of grow back into the trunk of a tree, but we're going to keep calling it a tree because that's just what branches, that's just what things are called in Git. So I'm going to say that I'm going to go back to my add Perl branch, and I'm going to say that in this case, I've finished hello.pl. So if I cat hello.pl, cat is a program that prints out the contents of a file. And it says print hello world. And if I run perl hello.pl, it says hello world. Good. I'm all finished with this project. I'm going to switch back to my main branch one more time. So in main, there is no hello.pl. There's no hello.rs. I'm finished with add Perl, so I'm switching back to my main branch. And the thing I want to do now is I want to say git merge hello add Perl. Sorry, git merge add Perl. So what I'm saying here is I would like to, from this branch called main, merge add Perl back into it. I'm going to press enter on my keyboard. And what this says, updating this number to this number. This number here is coincidentally the same as the one that we had up here. That's the commit ID of the thing that we've changed. This says updating 53834FF, and that was the commit that main was on before. And it says fast forward hello.pl 1 plus. And what this says is that I've added one line. I created this new file called hello.pl, and I've added one line from that. One file changed, one insertion. If I type ls now, I'm on the main branch. And in the main branch now, I've got this hello.pl. If I type hello.pl here, whoops, cat hello.pl, it says print hello world. So I had main, I had add Rust, and I had add Perl. And what I've done with add Perl is I've merged it back into the main. So the things that were in the main branch or in the add Perl branch have been copied into the main branch. If I do git status here, what this is going to tell me is that my branch is ahead of origin main. Origin, we're going to find out soon, is a special word for where this repository comes from. So that's going to be GitLab in this case. The version of main that's on GitLab has one commit on it, and now we're one commit ahead of that. We've added something. What we've added is that merge from the add Perl branch. Nothing to commit, working tree clean. So I'm going to say git branch one more time. And now what this is going to do is list the 3 branches that I've got. I have a main branch. That's the one I'm currently on with the asterisk. I've got an add Rust branch, and I've got an add Perl branch. I merged add Perl back into my main branch, so I can delete it now. So I'm going to delete this branch by saying git branch -d add Perl. If I do git branch one more time, now it's going to say there's only 2 branches left. There's the add Rust and the main branch. One of the things that we're going to have with branches is that sometimes I might be working on a feature for quite a while, like in my add Rust branch. So I'm going to say git switch add Rust. And I'd like to keep up to date with what main is. I want to make sure that the things that are in the main branch are coming into me so that I'm keeping up to date with the stuff that other people in this project are doing. So I'm going to say git merge main. Now what this is going to do is it's going to merge the main branch. So we've got main, we had add Perl, and we had add Rust. We merged add Perl into the main branch, but now the main branch is ahead of where the add Rust branch branched off. So I want to take the things that are in the main branch and merge them into this add Perl branch. So that's what I've done here. I'm merging main into add Rust. This is actually a commit that I'm making to this branch. And this has opened my editor, which is VI, and it's asking me to enter a comment for my commit or a commit message. I don't think this is anything, this commit message that's here is really the best message I can come up with. Merge branch main into add Rust. So I'm just going to save it. So WQ to write and quit. And what I've got here is now I've got hello.pl and hello.rs in this file. So I'll add more stuff to my Rust program to keep going. And I'm going to add a comment in Rust. And the way that I add a comment in Rust is similar to other programming languages. This is a comment. I'm going to write and save this. So write and quit. And then I'm going to say git add hello.rs. I want to keep track of the changes that I've got in this. I've added that comment, git commit -m, finish changes to Rust program, period. And then what I want to do is I want to take this add Rust branch. So I had add Rust, and I had add Perl, and I had main. Now I have add Rust and main. I merged add Perl into main. I've taken this and I've merged it into add Rust. What I'd like to do now is git checkout or git switch to main, and I want to merge Rust into main again. So I'm going to say git merge add Rust. So from the main branch, I'm asking to merge add Rust into it. Now, if I type ls here, now we've got both of these things in the main branch. Finally, I'm going to say git branch -d add Rust to delete that branch. So if I do git status here, I'm ahead by 4 commits, but my working tree is clean, and I've got both the hello.rs and hello.pl. So the last thing I think I'll do here to my README is just say my first repository. This now contains two files, hello.rs a Rust program that says hello world, and two hello.pl, a Perl program that says hello world. So I'm going to write and quit. I'll git add. Add README for new hello world programs. Okay, so if I do git status one last time here, and if I do git branch, we're on main again. We had two branches. We branched off of main, we merged them back in, we merged them back in, we merged them into each other. Now we have just the main branch. The last thing that I want to do here is that I would like to push to GitLab, and using that, so this pushes the branch that I'm currently on to GitLab. The other thing that I may want to do with this is if I say git branch -d mostly done, and then if I do git branch mostly done, so I want to create this as a new branch, I want to switch to it. If I want to push this, so I'm going to say that there's some new programming language, this new cool language called Java, and I'm going to say hello.java. If I say public class hello public static void main string args, and I say system.out.println hello world, and I add all the correct new lines here, and I write and quit. And if I add this, git add hello.java, git commit -m, this is a half finished Java program. I want to be able to take this and put it onto GitLab. Right now in GitLab, I only have the README file. So what I'd like to be able to do is I would like to be able to have this half complete work, and also I'd like to have this half complete work and also the work that I've got right now. So the way that I do that is I'm going to say git push, then now -u origin. So what this is saying is I would like to push, I'd like to update the origin. So origin here is this special word that says this is where my stuff is, my repository is in GitLab. I'm going to do git push -u origin and mostly done. This is going to make a new branch on GitLab itself. There's some extra stuff that gets printed out here to create a merge request for mostly done visit. And this gives us a nice way to create a new thing that's called a merge request. But really importantly, it says new branch, mostly done, branch mostly done is set up to track origin mostly done. Now I have these changes both in my local repository and on GitLab itself. Merge requests are something that we'll see when you're working with a team on something and you want someone to review your work before it gets merged in. When we're working by ourselves, just doing this merging by ourselves without asking anybody makes sense. It's straightforward to do. Now we're able to make some branches and commit them and push them to the remote.